Wow, that was weird. Hey, how's it going? I'm gonna read you some cards. You will please look at my signs. Oh, well, the one with the branches slightly obscured. Can you see it now? Okay, that is not, oh man, the best movement in the world for that arm, but I did it. Oh, that reminds me, my stupid light is washing out my sign. I don't want that. Whoops. Can you just like, oh no, stop reflecting so much. There. Oh wow, that's so much better. Ding! Light bulb. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes. Well, I pulled some cards today, and a lot of times I'll start and I won't know what the heck I'm gonna even be talking about. But today, when I pulled the cards, probably because I am now familiar with these cards, I did not pull the guidebook pages for the ones I pulled from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, of which I pulled, oh, get off of there, glare, of which I pulled 2. So yeah, hold that open for me, will ya? Thanks. I pulled number 60, Watchers, and I, as happens quite often, I saw something completely different than I saw the last couple of times. Well, not completely, it's actually quite similar. That right on top of that stack, which is you cannot see that. I know you cannot see that. Let me get the glaring light on it. So, well, but not the glare. Jeez. So I don't know if that's any better, but you may be able to pick out that this looks like a rock formation, and it's definitely some kind of stone. It might be fossilized because there is a being sitting in it that's a cat being. Has a cat's head, face, and that. But what I noticed today when I pulled the cards that I didn't notice before, I noticed that there seemed to be like a puma head on there, and there's like a rock and another one that corresponds on the other side, and they both have these long things on there, and I've looked at that so many times and it made no sense at all. And then today I look at it and it looks like the puma is, well, this is even more strange, resting its elbows up on top of the, you know, top of here above this cat's head this way. So the rocks on either end look like somebody's hands and fingers, and it looks like the cat's just this way. So I just wanted to point that out. I thought it was, you may have noticed I'm kind of obsessed with cats. If you haven't, I'm obsessed with cats. I love them. But I just want to point that out. That's not really what I started out headed toward when I was talking. Let me try again. When I pulled all of these cards, I immediately saw a sort of theme. And it was sit still, wait it out, observe, watch what happens, transpersonal. It's not all about you, not personally. And then I pulled Garden of Venus. And what I kind of fixed on was how it's not like it doesn't totally look like it, but for me there's similarities to what's behind me, because I have my branch up there behind me that fell in front of where I was writing the other day, and I was like, oh, I guess it's fall now. It has like it has a couple of pine cones on it. They're baby pine cones. I looked at it and I thought, did the gardeners on my side of the property line fence cut this off the tree? And then I looked at it and it was like that. It wasn't cut. It was like some kind of natural tear. Something tore it, because the gardeners use, blade scissors, gardening shears, and gardening scissors. It was not that clean of an edge, and I don't know, fat squirrel jumped on it. I don't know what fat kid jumped up and pulled it down. I don't know. Anyway, it just landed right in front of where I always go, because there's 7 cedars right there too, which it would have fallen off of one of those because it's a cedar branch. But I stop there every day when I ride, every day, and I love their scent. Like when it's hot, you can smell like the inside of it, like the sap, I guess, and that's a different aromatic than when it's in the wintertime, when it's cold and wet and there's like mist clinging to the branches. And where I am, actually, it doesn't even have to be that high. I mean, the mist can be like 10 feet up. It used to be way more like a primordial forest here in that way, but I love that because where I come from is more like this, hot. You have to picture buildings everywhere here and all kinds of modernization, but if you took all that away, it would look a lot like that in LA. Like from the beach to San Bernardino. So anyway, this also has greenery and like exposed branches happening up here. That made me think of my branch. Also the flowers here, the pinky lilac-y sort of flowers, reminded me of. The card is not going to show you, it's not a camera, that I have these. Well, I had to move them over to the side because they kept falling, but these roses that I've been collecting also on the property that I know they're just going to soon chop to heck, deadheading them for winter. So, and I used up all the ones I had, so I've been collecting them. And I have some darker ones like this, or some lighter ones like this. And I used to have them behind me, but I had to move them to the side because I kept bumping into them, and the cat jumping up there trying to get to the treats, he was just knocking them all over, and I picked up major fallen petals. It's okay, it's fine. But it's gonna stick you right there. So it's not like visible, but in my mind, it's like this archway, arboreal. And so, and I just want to make my home nice and pleasant like this, like it's my woman cave. So I like nice smells, and I have my pictures that I like. I have a picture of my hero in there that I should probably mount because it's getting curly, of Robert Plant in there. I have some art that I enjoy in another room. I mean, I just like to make my home a nice place to spend time in while I'm sitting around forever watching and waiting, because steady as she goes is the way to go. And I saw this and I thought stalwart. Well, I think I always think that because they're just kind of built to live in this type of climate with the sandstorms that barely anything can survive. Like, I mean, have you thought about what a sandstorm could do? It's essentially a bunch of minuscule pieces of glass. That's what sand is. So if it's spinning around at a high velocity, I would think it's kind of slicey. Like a little abrasive. And they have all those hairs and things, which I imagine protects them. I say I imagine, but I've actually read about this my whole life. You just, you learn things. So their skin is, I'm sure, several layers thicker and duller on the outside than ours would be in a sandstorm. And, they're just trying to, have their animal life and do whatever. And then people like us come along and we got to ride them and make them carry stuff around. And sometimes that's okay when we're kind to these people, animals. And, if we're not, then they're going to respond accordingly, just like people. I mean, think about it. We're asking them to do our bidding, to be our beast of burden, and they just want to walk around and graze and mate whenever that happens, and I don't know, do camel stuff when they're not contracted by some human to be working. So if they're gonna work with you, my God, appreciate it, appreciate them. Don't just be all whatever you're mad at. You already probably beat up your wife at home, and your kids are probably frightened to death of you, and then you're gonna come take it out on the camel too. The camel helps you with your work, with your living. It helps you stay alive and keep all the people that you want to abuse in a house and fed. I'm just saying that kind of not pleasant person could work with a camel, and then it could be another person with the same exact situation, and everything's all coming up roses, lovey and nice, because the person that works with the camel person is kind, and they probably are successful. Their family probably loves them. Their business probably does well, modestly. I mean, there's a camel here. There's not a whole fleet, and the person is probably happy because maybe they've been paying attention to what happens when people en masse want to have all of everything for themselves. When if you tend your own garden, you can have what you need for yourself, and maybe some to also share with others that may not have all of the blessings in life that you do, but they help you, so you're more than happy to share. Or you're just more than happy to share because you have more than you need. So what are we waiting and watching for? We're just this time, just this period right now that we're living in, say this generation and the next couple, so 20, 30 years, we're going through some stuff. And I guess this has been on my mind all day. But when you're going through something, how does it work out for you if you get mad, freak out, lose your mind, break stuff, throw stuff, hit people, succumb to every bad impulse that you have because you're mad, damn it, and you just want your way because it's me. But you know what, there's a whole bunch of other people too that are, I was gonna say in the same boat, but they might not want to be in the same boat as this other person thrashing around, taking on water, maybe gonna sink the people in the boat with them. Pick your boats carefully. But as a metaphor, but I think you might get what I'm saying. There's a lot of people feeling all kinds of things, and there's a lot of agitation because I think they think that's appropriate, and they don't see that it just is not gonna, it's just gonna give you more of what you're complaining about. Complain, complain, complain. Be sure in detail to those forces in your life that will cater to you, because you seem to be saying you want chaos and disorder and drama and a fight, basically, when that's that's really your truth. But there's a lot of people that are concurrently having that truth. So I thought about the Cloud, you know, the Peanuts comic strip, and there's a character called Pigpen, and I guess he's like not hot on bathing, and he has like a cloud of dust around him at all times and dirt smears on his face, and that's kind of what I think of when I think of those people. Like, that's what they're carrying around with them, and they're so mad at everybody and everything else, and they did it, and it's like, partly, but you know, if it's happening, we've all been a part of it. So I mean, I guess you can blame other people, but you gotta also blame yourself. So and I feel like I see a lot of back and forth, like people on the one side saying their angry stuff, and the people on the other side who I feel like have like good intentions at heart, but they're also like the other side of that same kind of angry, aggressive coin. But both sides of that coin want the other side to do something else than what they're doing, and they're not really leaving much room for negotiation or understanding about why either side feels the way they do about the other side's thing. And the thing about having a conversation is the component of listening. If you're not listening to each other and you just want at each other, you end up with the dusty cloud flying around you and getting smudges on your face because you're taking stuff personal and getting insulted and getting hurt by it. And it's like, you can go on that way and the rest of us can feel like we're gonna turn into stone before you realize, man, it's just not that big of a deal. But there is also the other side that is like, you're this way and you're that way and you have this and that wrong with you, and none of the you poor thing behind any of that, or you're this way and you're that way, how can I help you? You're this way and you're that wrong with you, how can I help you make it right? I mean, if one is going to be the side of making sense and compassion, then you need to enact that. You need to, like, embody that. So, and that is my truth. That is what I feel like I'm observing. And, you know, at the same time, both sides also mouth these words that they want love and unity, or they say they have it, and it's like, it's not really unity if only your group is unified with itself. That's cloisterism or something. That's not unity. Unity means everybody. And both of the sides that I'm talking about, like, I'm just watching and waiting for them to both realize, hey, like, we got to get off of each other for what we both want to work. And I feel like that's kind of the deal on the grand scale about everything we do. Because all of the stuff that happens, I hope soon people will understand how big a role what we all say and do contribute to all of the things that happen. And so, by suggesting that there are people in the dusty pigpen cloud having their thing going on, and that's not just the one side, like the other side gets drawn into it too. It's its whole own little ecosystem over here, dusty with maybe slicey shards flying around made of words and thoughts, and yeah, it's just a little cataclysm all to itself. And meanwhile, around it, outside of it, beyond the confines of that, there's other happier, more... I can't believe... What is the stupid word? It's not stupid. Positive. Oh my gosh. Upbeat. You know, like love, consideration. Like, oh my gosh, I love starting my day watching a few things. I'll watch something that makes me laugh, and it's not always a comedian. Sometimes I'll just turn on Twitter in the morning, and the people that I follow, the accounts that I follow are often animal things or just like pleasant stuff, really, and I'll just soon have a smile on my face. Like I'll catch my reflection in the phone, and it's just just stupid grin, which is good. And then I'll go find my drummer guy, El Estepario Siberiano. He's so technically good, and he's got a lot of personality, but he smiles so much while he's playing, like it looks like he's enjoying himself so much. And I love drummers and drumming. Like, it is my secret ambition to also participate in some drumming myself. Again, I gotta get a hold of some sort of drum set again at some point. But anyway, and then so animals, funny stuff, the drumming. I don't know. There's a couple of other things that are just like light and happy. They're not news, and it's just like a way to start out my day. That if you start out happy, you know it's gonna be good. Because I definitely can compare this to when I had to work before I got sick, and some days, especially if I was super hungover and I had only been asleep for 2 hours before I had to get up, so I'm still like all reeking of alcohol, and no amount of showering and brushing and mouth washing really gets rid of it. So you just are not starting off your day great. You do not want to go to work. You know, there were plenty of days where I was stone cold sober when I woke up and did not want to go to work. It was just I don't know, it was just hard to go there every day because it just felt like abuse so many days dealing with the public. So I had those fabulous retail jobs, but what an education. There's always good to be had in everything. But I have since learned, like, that's no way to start your day. Like, you give yourself so many steps up when you wake up with a smile on your face. Like, smile at yourself in the mirror when you're doing your morning cleaning up your face and that, or, you know, your after shower, whatever it is. Like I was saying earlier, if you go in talking about drama and everything all bad and terrible, that's what you're gonna get, because all of the things around you that make your life happen for you are listening to hear what you want. So if that's what they don't know nuance. They're very literal. They're very pedantic. Like, you have to be specific. Or if your general tone is happy and smiley, they get that too. It makes a difference. While you're watching it and waiting forever for things to finish the argy-bargy and work out and settle, because this is the beginning of the age of Aquarius, and that's what it's all about. Thank you, and good night.